Hello, I'm Alicia Davis.
And I'm Stacy Watson.
We are the founders and co-owners of Transformative Leadership Strategies, a coaching, training, and team building company. And we were pretty fired up last week, weren't we, Stace?
Yes, we got to be in person at a conference delivering a couple of different sessions throughout the conference with people. I think they said there were 450 participants at this conference. So we were down at Mohegan Sun, and it was just so nice to be back out and kind of, I don't know what normal feels like anymore, but it did feel
Oh,
really nice to see people face to face and to be able to just spend some time out in the community.
it really did. And, we got to talk with a lot of participants in that conference, and they're really focused on, like many of our organizations, they are focused on providing really important services to people in their communities, right? And one of the topics that we shared, we had a workshop on, was becoming a coach-like leader. And we just wanted to share that today because we are finding more and more how this topic is really important for our organizations, right?
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with all the staffing changes that have happened over the last 12 to 18 months. So many of our organizations have found themselves, certainly desperate for staff and talent and going out and trying to find new folks to come into the organization. And all of the changes, people departing, has really created an opportunity to bring people from kind of frontline direct care roles up into manager or supervisor roles. And it's a very different, as we all know, it's a very different kind of work. And so I think this coach like leading is just a topic that resonates as organizations are trying to find ways to really support, especially these new leaders in their new work.
That's right. That's exactly right. And we just wanted to be clear. We thought we'd just share a couple of slides from our deck from that session. And coach like leading or managing really is about, first and foremost, it's about mindset, right? It's not about becoming coaches, getting certified, any of those things. It's really much more about how can I, instead of being in the mindset of I've got to do the work myself, right now, as you have a team around you, it's much more about how can I empower all of my team to be as engaged, to be as inspired, to feel as connected and accountable as possible, and really to develop themselves, right? So it's very much about, the focus is on and evolves sometimes into also about how to delegate, but it's also very much about how do we help everybody on our team be the best they can be, including
Right.
ourselves.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, this kind of approach really matters in a lot of ways. Not only does it support this new leader, perhaps in their leadership approach, it also creates an environment where hopefully the people being led, the people who are on the team, feel like their opinion matters and understand what they're accountable for. We know that people leave organizations usually because of a manager, much more than leaving the organization because of the organization itself. So the more we empower our leaders to create an environment that engages staff, the better off everyone is, especially in this moment where staff is so tight. Talent is
That's
in
right.
such short supply.
That's right. And, one of the things that we talk about is, what does it mean to create a coach-like environment, right? So what do we mean when we say that?
Well, I think, many of us may have come up in a day where there was a lot more of do it the way I said to do it and don't ask any questions, kind of that command and control approach. Excuse me. And I think what the research tells us and what many of us have experienced and seen for ourselves is the more that we're able to really engage staff in the conversations, whether it has to do with being innovative, trying to solve problems, deal with difficult situations, the more we can empower folks to be part of that solution, to part of the conversation, it does create a very different environment.
That's right. And we would just invite you perhaps as a new manager or as a manager in the role that you've been in for however long, just to really consider, you already might be doing some of these things, creating this kind of environment. So just really celebrating that and knowing that there's real power in that. And, if there's something from what we shared today that just piques your interest, maybe you might even consider, how might I incorporate some aspect of that into my leading and managing? And if you have any questions about this approach, feel free to reach out to us. We have webinars, we have team building sessions, we have all kinds of ways that we support leaders in learning and understanding how to be more coach-like. So you can always reach out to us, info@tlstransforms.com.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you
Yeah,
soon.
thank you.
Bye-bye.